Oklahoma State. Them Cowboys. Uh, they, I mean, if you look at the transfer portal numbers, the sheer numbers, there's a lot of loss in the transfer portal. Spencer Sanders being one, right? Of course, at quarterback, Jabbar Muhammad, Mason Cobb. Mason Cobb going to USC. It's a guy that the Aggies missed out on. Bummer. But definitely, this is a really, really, really interesting team. Bringing Alan Bowman, who is not unfamiliar with the Big 12. They had pretty terrible rushing offense last year. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this team?
I mean, I like to live when talking about Oklahoma State, or at least betting on Oklahoma State, I like to live by the rule of never doubt Mike Gundy, because anytime you do, he's gonna prove you wrong. This year, I don't know that this is the year to do that. I think 6.5 is pretty high for them, right? I'm gonna stay out of it. I'm not gonna make a play either way. I'll probably lean at, I think 6 wins is kind of where they're at. They got to stay healthy though. Their offense will be interesting, right? We'll see how Alan Bowman does. I think Spencer Sanders was a damn good player, and I think they learned that pretty quickly when he got hurt and how much they struggled to move the ball last year. The offensive line was pretty bad last year, and part of the reason why Spencer Sanders got hurt. But they were healthy all spring. They looked like they got better. We'll see about it. I think Arlen Bruce, right from Iowa, is an interesting player there. Obviously Brendan Presley returns, Jaden Bray, and then Blaine Green is finally his time. He's a former high recruit. He's there now. So we'll see offensively. I think Alan Bowman, I don't know if I don't love him, but I think he's obviously got a pretty high floor, having that experience at Texas Tech and in the Big 12. But yeah, I'm gonna stay with a no play, lean under. I think 6 wins is pretty much where they're gonna be at.
You know what they say. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. And that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be riding Oklahoma State. Give me the over 6.5 wins. I get it. Spencer Sanders gone. Oh, no. There were so many transfers out of there. A lot of those, who cares, right? Mason Cobb was kind of a big one, but we talk about linebacker being a pretty replaceable position. It's a pretty replaceable position. The wide receiver room gets a little bit better, right? Stribling from Washington State is a good football player. Leon Johnson from D3, big 6'3", right? Guy that was All-American D3. That's a good football player that I think they're really high on. And if we know anything about Mike Gundy, he loves his D3 football players, and they pay off when he goes and gets them. I don't know what it is about him or his staff that just goes and gets guys in D3, but he always finds good ones. He always finds good ones. Of course, Arlen Bruce, we haven't seen a lot of, but he could be pretty good too. Brendan Presley is obviously a good safety blanket for Alan Bowman. Again, Alan Bowman, I think for Oklahoma State, if you look at this, let's look at the schedule too, right? I think Alan Bowman doesn't need to be elite to win 7 games. Central Arkansas, Arizona State, South Alabama. South Alabama is a good team. That is not, but you get them at home, right? It's a losable game, right? But if you're looking at out conference, you should be 3-0, right? Iowa State, you should be able to go in there and get a win, right? Kansas, you get at home, right? West Virginia, you should be able to go there and get a win. Cincinnati, you should be able to win that game. UCF, you might be able to go in the bounce house and get a win there as well. Houston, they play all 4 of the newcomers into the Big 12, right? And an out-of-conference schedule that does not include, I'll say, a Power 5 team with a win-loss or win total over 6, right?
And they'll be breaking in Jaden Rashada, right? Week 2 of Jaden Rashada.
Yeah, and they'll be breaking in a true freshman. And guess what? In West Virginia, you also draw, right? So you draw arguably the 5 worst teams in the Big 12. I'm asking Mike Gundy to go 500 in the Big 12. That's all I'm asking. Pretty much. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And Mike Gundy, in his 16-year career there, 17-year career, I won't count his first year, right? Because that was bologna sandwich. 3 times he has gone under 6 wins, and there were 6 wins on the dot, right? He has never not made a bowl game except for his first season. That's unbelievable. This guy just does not. He just coaches well. He's just a great coach, right? And guess what? Defensively, yeah, sure, you lose Mason Cobb, okay, but Maybe they got some talent there. Enough. All I ask for is enough. And I think they understand too that based on their personnel, right? Mike Gundy knows more than I do. They're switching it up to a 3-3-5 this year. And guess what? That's very common in the Big 12. And it's also very effective in the Big 12. We've seen TCU runs it, Iowa State runs it, Kansas State's run a lot of it, right? And those are all teams that have had a lot of success in recent years defensively, right?
Credit to Mike Gundy. DJ Durkin would never.
You would never. Although he did, kind of.
Well, he wouldn't change
in the wrong direction. Yeah,
he wouldn't change to adapt to his personnel, which is so smart. I mean, you could have the best scheme in the world, but if you don't have the players for it, what are you doing? You could run a much worse scheme, right? But it could be actually way better fit for your personnel, and that can make the whole world of difference. Credit to him for doing that.
Yeah, and I think they got more in the transfer portal than they lost. I think Justin Kirkland might be a dude from Utah Tech. I know he's coming up a level, but again, we talk about Mike Gundy going in and getting these guys from D2, D3. They're good. I think he's solid. I think Anthony Goodlow could be a good transfer as well. Justin Wright at linebacker, who's replacing Mason Cobb. If he's fine, he's fine, right? I just think with this schedule, it's fine. The offensive line is also, look, they weren't fantastic last year. Okay, sure, they lost 2 guys with a lot of snaps, but they're very old in there, and they're big. Average height 6'5" there across the board, and Bowman's 6'3", so he's not small, right? So I think he can. I think he'll be able to navigate that a little bit. Dalton Cooper's a transfer that they got on the offensive line. I think he might be good too. I feel really good about this over. When I started seeing all these kids leaving Oklahoma State, I'm like, wow, it's really falling off the wheels for Mike Gundy. And then I did some digging, and I'm like, they would never fall under Mike Gundy. They wouldn't. Because again, like you said, the second you doubt Mike Gundy is exactly when he costs you money, is what he does, right? So everyone, let's save a horse and ride some Cowboys. All right? What do you say?